That's a nice morning. Cool, crisp. Rained last night. The sun's about to come up over the tree line there. Yeah. I'll head into the office just now. But I've just finished my coffee. Let that seep into my bones. Yeah. But can I tell you what I've been thinking about this morning as I was lying in bed with my coffee? I've been talking about and I've been thinking about the idea of life seems to be better, seems to be more pleasant when we work with a theme, a life theme. And I said to myself, I prefer the word theme to purpose. But I was just thinking about how it's easier, and I compare this to my life as an architect, as a designer, and I've been an architect for most of my life, I think now. So I've been designing on an almost daily basis for probably more than the time that I've spent not designing. So, and I think when people hear about architecture and design, they hear about different styles. People call it styles, but styles are themes, aren't they? So you get the classical style and the modernist style and the Gothic style, and of course creative individuals, or individuals that prefer authenticity, would resist the attempts to work within a style because they want to be original, they want to be creative, they want to be free thinkers. The advantage of working within a style, if you say, well, I'm a deconstructivist architect or a postmodern architect, or if you say I'm a Bauhaus architect or arts and crafts movement, it's easier to wake up in the morning and do design because you have guide rails, you have a theme, you have a style, you have a set of rules with which to approach every problem. Makes life easier. And in the same way, people with their lives generally and everything that forms part of those lives have found it easier over the centuries, over the millennia, easier to wake up in the morning knowing that they have a theme, and these are often religious themes: Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, African traditional religions, communism, capitalism, libertarianism. All of these are in ways which help you when you wake up in the morning to realize this is what I must do. Some externally imposed set of values and ways of thinking, a theme. Now, just in the same way as with design, it's a lot more difficult with design to come up, architectural design in particular, that's what I'm familiar with. It's a lot more difficult to come up with a theme that authentically comes out of your self, authentically comes out of some deep place inside yourself. It takes a lot longer, and you'd be slow off the mark if you're competing at varsity, where your competitors all have a off-the-shelf theme, or off-the-shelf architectural style. They won't sit and prevaricate and think about the project they have in front of them. They'll leap straight at it. They'll analyze the problem. Let's say we've got a problem we need to design a maritime museum. You step straight into if you're a neoclassicist, you have a textbook, you have a guidebook, you have a set of rules in place, and you're off the mark very quickly. Let's say you've got 3 weeks to come up with a design. In the first 2 days, your thinking is clear and you can spend a lot of time investing in the detail. But if you're authentic, if you want to come up with your own set of guidelines, of course you're going to take years to come up with a theme, and you're going to struggle behind. But if you do come up with your own theme for design and your own theme for life, once you've found it, it's going to last a lot longer. It's going to be more embedded. It's going to be a lot more resilient to changes and to external argument. Because remember, if you adopt for your life, if you adopt for your design approach an external theme, it can be challenged also by external argument. So your life becomes contained, if you're committed in the 1980s as a postmodernist, and then you engage yourself in all the kinds of arguments and attacks against the stupidity of postmodernism by those that are advocating other approaches. And in the same way in your life, if you have an externally imposed theme or purpose, it's always under threat by a better idea, a better purpose, a better theme, and you're constantly worrying yourself. If you're a thinking person, you're constantly worrying about the relative merits of this imposed theme, this imposed religion, this imposed set of values. Whereas if you've arrived at your own, through hard, long process, at your own life theme, it is more solid. It is more solid. So my life theme has to do with the magic and the deity and the mystery of place, and observing all aspects of that place and breathing in the beauty and the specificness and the wonder of place. My place, not anybody else's place, not anybody else's idea of what that place should be, not anybody else's idea of what I should feel when I observe, but just to observe what I observe as I'm in that place. And in the same way, in my design life, over many years I've grown with each project to observe what is there, what does the building want to become, just observe that and humble myself to what it wants to become, observe the place in which it's located, and allow the thinking and the theme to emerge from there. Now, is this the right way to live a life? Is this the right way to design? Is that even an appropriate question? Why is it important to be right or to be wrong? It's not a question that, if it ever did bother me, it doesn't bother me anymore. This is a way I live my life that makes me feel comfortable to wake up in the morning. Is that a problem for me? No. Yeah. Okay, listen. Heading off to the office now. I've got a shit ton of design work to do. Talk later, guys.